Hey guys, Rosie here. Back in my noxious yellow room, as you can see, and back in my shaky computer. Woo. Okay, you get the point. If it shakes, not my fault. Noxious yellow room's fault. Okay, so this week's topic is the word tranny. I think it's always tricky when you start talking about terms and language. I have a story, like my sperm and egg story, only this one actually has to do with my life. Today, I was out picking cherries. It's my job. I work on a cherry farm, and harvest has started, so I'm in trees and covered in bugs all day. Feel envious. Okay, and so I was talking with some coworkers and my boss, Annie, about swearing. And Annie never swears. She doesn't swear in her everyday life. It's not that particularly noticeable. It's not like, she holds herself back and uses alternate, bizarre, ways of expressing surprise. She just doesn't, she just speaks in kind of everyday language and she doesn't swear. Which is funny because she's really hilarious and she tells all these very semi-inappropriate jokes but never swears. But when she gets angry or when something gets to her, she can swear like a sailor. I, on the other hand, swear all the time in my everyday life. Not angry, just, going about my day. And I swear. Not exactly something I'm proud of, but it's a fact of life with me. And, however, when something gets to me, when I'm angry, I don't swear. And I never swear at another person. Neither in jest nor in anger, especially not in anger. I just feel like it's a form of violence that, I try not to cultivate violence in my life. So that's just, an example of the way that people see the effects of language differently. And the way that they use language to affect the world around them, themselves, So there's my story. The point is that tranny is another word like that. It can be used like pretty much any word. I mean, the word woman, if you say it in a God, woman kind of way, is derogatory. But I think derogatory is the wrong word. Actually, speaking of vocabulary, I think derogatory is the wrong word. It can be offensive. Because the word woman is not necessarily derogatory. Neither is tranny. Say the N word is a derogatory word. Faggot, that too. They both have histories. They were created by oppressors or adapted by oppressors. Faggot is actually a very benign word when you go into Old English. But, and then adapted later by the groups of people that they applied to. But words like woman and tranny, no, they're just words. I mean, if you think about it, tranny is literally a shortening of transsexual. My name's Rosalie, and Rosie's a shortening of that. And I think that that's where it comes in. Is that, if I met some random guy, I was introduced to him, he's middle-aged, has nothing to do with my life, I've never met him before, he's totally unconnected to my family or friends, right? You get the point. And I'm introduced to him as Rosalie, which is my given name. And he pats me on the back and calls me Rose. That's inappropriate. It's inappropriate, not because it's offensive to call me Rose, but because it's not his place. He's taking liberties in using that term for me, or name, whatever, that he does not have the place to take, right? My dad can call me Rose. Jack can call me Rose. A random guy who I've never met before and has nothing to do with my life cannot call me Rose. The same way, the same thing goes for, Jack. I can call him a tranny. And his friends can. And we do. And I don't think of the word as offensive when I use it. He doesn't think of it as offensive when he uses it. But if someone outside of our kind of queer community uses that word, it's patronizing. It's like they're assuming that they get an automatic in. That's, it's not their place to use that word. Sort of just like an in word. It's like the secret password to being trans. To being queer. You can use the word tranny. You can use the word dyke. I use the word dyke for myself. I use it for other dykes, but some random, straight person who has nothing to do with our world can't just come up and call us dykes. That's, it's not acceptable. So I think it's more complicated than just being like we're owning the word and taking the power from it, because tranny is not, inherently a derogatory word. It's just a term, but it has to do with kind of respect and I don't know, the liberty of who can use it and who can't. Okay, so I'm at 6:40, and now I get to talk about tranny chasers, because I think that that's a really, really important thing to talk about. I think that word is very damaging. First of all, because when you're talking about someone chasing trannies, you're talking about them fetishizing trannies, transgendered people. And that in itself, by saying that there is this group of people who fetishizes trans people, that word fetishizes trans people. So I think it's really, really damaging. However, I'm not totally selfless. I also hate the word because people apply it to me, and I know that. And I'm not a tranny chaser. I do tend to be attracted to genderqueer women, really dykey women, or trans men. But it has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with who I'm attracted to. Straight men are attracted to women. Doesn't necessarily have to do with sex. It has to do with who they're attracted to. I'm not saying sex isn't part of it. But the point is that for me, those genderqueer women and trans men, the people who are sort of in that like spectrum of energy, that's the energy that draws me to them. I'm not drawn by feminine energy. I'm not drawn by, straight or biological masculine energy. I just, maybe it's cultural. I'm uncomfortable with sort of masculine culture in general. But, I think that it's just ridiculous to say that. It's like, all straight women chase men. Not really. They might date them. They may not. They're attracted to them. They're attracted to men. I think it's a little subtler than being like, well, I think that, Chase and Toy made a really good points. Like, there's no chasing involved. Aha. Nice joke, guys. There's no chasing involved. It's just, who you prefer to date, who you're attracted to. Anyways, so I think the word tranny chaser is very offensive. I do not think the word tranny is necessarily offensive unless people who aren't part of the queer community use it. And then it's like calling me Rose. So if you guys love all of my personal stories and comparisons, I'm glad, because I'm not exactly sure why they all came up in this video, but evidently I'm in kind of an odd mood, and This is the third time I made the video. Because I kept rambling ridiculously. Which is saying something, because I rambled a lot in this video. But I'm still rambling, so I'll go, and I'll see y'all next week.